Welcome to this edition of the Houston Roundball Review presents Let's Talk Houston Rockets. I'm of course KG Kris Gardner, owner of the Houston Roundball Review, and this show and tomorrow's show are made possible presented by Byron Riley, CPA.com. Byron Riley, buddy of mine, known for years, step up to the plate these last for 10 shows to be a sponsor presenter of the show. Visit that website. It's tax season. Visit the website byronrileycpa.com or call 832-303-3995. Once again, if you're listening to the audio version rebroadcast, it's 832-303-3995, byronrileycpa.com. Rocket fans, what are your thoughts about last night's loss? The last 1.6 seconds of the fourth quarter. My buddy, my colleague, Big Sarge, was wondering why Fred VanVleet was on the floor instead of someone taller. Jeremy Grant hit a hell of a shot. Boban was in the game on the inbounder for his height. Malcolm Brogdon made a great pass over Boban. And Jeremy Grant banked in a three to force overtime. Did you have problems with that? With the people on the floor at the time? The overall defense? The Rockets in overtime? What? You see how important Tari Eason is. You see how important Jabari Smith is. The Rockets defense is just not the same. It's taking a step back these last few weeks. Is it simply because of injuries? Is it because opponents are doing a better job scouting the Rockets and exploiting weaknesses in the Rockets lineup? What do you think? We're going to talk about it here for a few minutes on this edition of Let's Talk Houston Rockets. And we're going to do it again Friday after the Rockets road game against the Charlotte Hornets. Earlier, a couple of hours ago, the final fan results, the starters were announced for the Western and Eastern Conference All-Stars. Just put it up. Salute to Alpin Sengun, finished fifth in the final fan vote for the front court. Fifth. It's not bad, Alp. 1.821 million votes. 1,821,202 votes for Alpin Sengun. Salute to him. Salute to the fans. Overall voting results. Weighted score there. Player rank 11th. Fan rank 5th. Media rank 11th. That kind of surprised me. I kind of expected more from my media colleagues that they would think higher of Alpin and vote him higher than 11th. But his weighted score overall was 8. Do you have a problem with that? I still believe, I think the coaches will determine the reserves, that Alpin has a very good shot of being named to the reserves. I think that announcement will take place next Thursday. So good luck to him. But we're talking Rockets and Blazers. We're talking Rockets and the Celtics. How they've done these last few games. Defense has not been up to par. It's been substandard. Heck, the Rockets were kind of fortunate to beat Detroit a little while ago. But what's going on? What do you think about it? Hit me up as you're watching on YouTube at the Houston Roundball Review YouTube channel, on Facebook, as well as on Musk at the HR Review. So what are your thoughts on what you've seen? What are your thoughts about tomorrow's game against the Hornets on the road? These next two games on the road versus Charlotte, then Brooklyn, back-to-back, Friday, Saturday. J-Mon is consistent. J-Mon is consistent. He's been wanting Rafael Stone to make a deal for a while. Has not happened yet. J-Mon, first of all, salute. Thank you for chiming in your comment. Thank you for watching the show. Appreciate it as always. It's past time for Stone to make a trade. Who do you want dealt? And who do you want in return for said player or two? Well, Jacques Landale. What can the Rockets get for Jacques Landale? Justin, how are you? Thank you. Seen you twice today. You chimed in during the lunch break earlier this Thursday for the Houston Roundball Review Takeover. Appreciate that. Now you're joining me tonight. Thank you for doing that double duty. Rockets propaganda. Salute to you. He'd like someone in the media to ask Udoka about playing Fred off the ball with Amen to lean into Fred's three-point shooting. It's happened a few times. I think you'll see it more. The more comfortable Amen gets running the offense, you'll see Fred off the ball more and more. That'll take Aaron Holiday's minutes, which is okay. Were y'all kind of surprised that Dillon Brooks did not get a lot of run down the stretch? He was in the game for that final 1.6 in the fourth quarter, but Jonathan Fagan asked Coach about it, and he went with Aaron Holiday because he believed Aaron and I think Uncle Jeff were doing a good job offensively and defensively. Did you agree with that? That Dillon Brooks did not get more minutes last night? Could that be an issue? Do you think DB will be kind of rubbed the wrong way about that, but not getting minutes in crunch time? Anything is possible, but what do you think? But I do believe Fred will be off the ball some when Amen is running the offense. I think it's happened briefly, but it will happen more. I feel certain of that. And hey, someone will ask about it, so no worries about that at all. Justin going to bring it up again. Like I said, the last stream on the Nick rumors were saying they will take Jalen, Jeff, and Victor for Grimes. you brought up earlier today. I laughed. Please. yeah, sure. Okay, yeah. We'll give you Quinn Grimes. I'll give us Jalen Green. And others. Okay. Who was it? Jalen Green and Tar Eason? That's what we talked about earlier today on the takeover. Come on. Really? Jalen Green and Tar Eason for Quinn Grimes. Quinn Grimes, UH product and all that, but no. no. But J-Mon, type it up. Post it. Post your trade idea. Who do you want Rafael to go after? Who do you want Rafael to get? You've been just firm in it. Stone has to make a move. He needs to make a move. Who for? Is it a big? Is it a point guard? Terry, how you doing? We're talking about Rocket trade ideas. Terry chiming in from New Zealand. What is it? Hot still over there, Terry? Under there, New Zealand? Under the equator? Yeah. South of the equator. Who do you want the Rockets to acquire in a deal? A big, point guard, a shooter? You know, one of my buddies were kicking around J-Mom with this one, kicking around Buddy Hield as a possibility, but J-Mom with DeJounte Murray and Clint Capella for 2 firsts and Jalen Green. What do I think about that one? Interesting. Had some colleagues who used to want to trade Jalen Green no longer want to trade Jalen Green. Are any of y'all in that camp? Have you changed your mind and you want to keep Jalen? Or now you're like, nope, he's got to go. Have any people who have been so high on Cam Whitmore realized, damn, he doesn't pass the ball for anything, but he can score? Thoughts on that? Logic says, welcome. Long time no hear from. Logic. I went to the game. It just looks like Jalen's not made for this team's identity. Some folks believe that. What do you think about that? Terry, J-Mon, Justin, do you agree? Do you want to give Jalen one more season? Give him the rest of this season, and that'll be it. Or no, he's got to go. I'm just not ready to give up on him just yet. Rockets propaganda says we need perimeter creation that does not rely on a pick. Also, a big that can offer a contrast in play style to Şengün or complement him as a shooter. Justin says Rockets rumors are swirling that Ime wants to give him one more season at him being Jalen Green. I think that's, I'm not going into the rumors, but I think that's kind of safe. J-Mon says Jalen had an okay game against Portland, but he's too inconsistent. But what about the defense? Let's get back to that. One of my initial topics for tonight. and Friday as well. What's up? What's gone wrong with the defense? Or is it simply because of injuries to the better defensive players? And that these defensive setbacks will be corrected once Jabari ankle's no longer an issue. Tari comes back. Jay Sean. Is it just injuries to key people? What do you think? Terry says, I saw you is very hot in New Zealand. Yep, I'm happy to give Jalen this season and go from there. I think we just need players to contribute now without affecting our player development. Mike, what? Mike, man, Mike, where you been, brother? Where you been? Missed you the last couple of shows. I know I hadn't done a show in 2 weeks. Froze my butt off last week, and so did my pipes. But Mike, what do you think? Are you ready to give up on Jalen Green, or want to give him one more season? Justin says the Rockets used to be top. At one point, I think they were top 2, top 3 defensively. They're not that for now. That's for sure. Let's see. Part of our defensive issues are scouting reports being updated and us not adapting well to that. How should they adapt? What do you think they should be doing differently? Bashola says, J-Mon, you won't like this. I see Stone not doing anything until the offseason. Mike Will. Rockets need a true rim protector and a shooter. All right. Terry, we miss Barry and Tari on defense and the boards. Jamon, am I wrong to think that good defense can only get you so far? Anthony Simons went on a tear in the third. He had 16 of his 33 in the third. I don't think there's much you can do besides score more points. That hurts my heart hearing you say that. Seeing you type that as a defensive guy. Mike Will says no. One more season for Jalen Green. He says Stone should be on the clock. Regarding a trade or what? Or his job in general. What are you saying, Mike? But yeah, you guys are doing a good job with the comments early in the show. X-Ray, welcome, welcome, welcome. We're talking Rockets defense. And again, we're talking Rockets, what to do with Jalen Green. Keep him, trade him. What say you, X-Ray? It's not going to be a banner free agency group. You got more and more guys opting to stay with their team, re-sign, basically pre-agency. So their current teams that are spending that money to keep the guys where they are. Mike Will says referring to Rafael's job in general. He's on the clock. J-Mon agrees with you on that one. Rafael's job in general. Rockets propaganda would like Coach Udoka to mix up the coverages from time to time. We could use more trapping schemes. Yeah, I kind of like that. I agree with that too. Because I know the traps did it. Portland's traps last night gave the Rockets some fits. And Fred said after the game, they struggled with it because they weren't used to seeing it. And especially younger players, you don't practice certain things, don't scheme them. You see something different that you're not used to, you don't know how to react. So you saw some turnovers from the Rockets in that sense. Terry asks, has Dylan Brooks' defense fallen off a bit? I think he's under the officials' radar because they call him for a lot of fouls. Even mix in some zone defense. I'm good with that from this perspective. I know my man, I think it's Bomani Jones says it a few times, or all the time. Zone is for cowards. I'm with any defense that works, that throws your opponent off and disrupts their flow on offense. If it's some zone sometimes, do it. If it's trapping defenses sometimes, do it. Just throw the offense, the opponents off rhythm, give them different looks. Don't have to do it the whole game, anything like that. Just throw off their rhythm. And then, hedging on screens, switching defenses, a lot of different ways to be effective defensively. Yes, that's what they did to Fred last night. They sure did. Matisse Thybulle was a defensive person, a pest, and he made 3 threes. Like, who the hell is this guy? Where's he been all this time? Mike Will says the Rockets look like a bad AAU team at times, especially now. In what sense? Elaborate. Justin with Jalen spent 2 years learning the wrong way to play. Looks like John Wall was right on what he told Jalen when he left. So, okay, so Justin, are you ready to give up on Jalen Green? Because he scored well, mid range, but then down the stretch, he just seemed to go backwards. He regressed. In the game, he took a step back. Rockets propaganda, we've become too predictable on both ends. That's the worst thing a mediocre team can be. They did. He had like what 2 or 3 steals in a row. They thought Thibault played for the Rockets. They kept passing him the ball. Well, Mike Will with the answer regarding the bad AAU team: no hustle, lack of energy, and just lost at times. And you've heard Coach Udoka say in post game numerous times lately, got off to slow starts, the lack of physicality. Sometimes when we score too easily, it impacts how we play defensively. Well, we'll see. Justin says, I said that to say it's going to take a little time for him to learn how to play in Ime's system the right way. Okay, so you want to keep him. DPG, how you doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Learning curve for Jalen Green. Mudbone. It seems like everyone shoots above the normal team percentage against him. Terry asked, why didn't they foul on the last possession? Fred said it after the game. He just, by the time he was thinking about fouling Jeremy Grant was already in his shooting motion. So it would have been too late and been 3 free throws. Now you could argue, well, there's a chance Jeremy Grant would not make all 3 free throws. You know, that logic is there as well. Mudbone says also they can't make other teams pay for leaving them open on offense, which goes to they need another shooter. Buddy Hield. Bring the name up again. Logic Z says Jalen is a bona fide 6th man. And I think Mike Will agrees. Which Rocket scares you from the 3-point line? Well, the best one percentage-wise is who? Is Dylan Brooks, right? He doesn't really scare anybody from 3-point range. Could Cam Whitmore be that guy? The one that scares teams from 3-point range? Are y'all okay with Cam just being a gunner? I guess I say that right now. A gunner. He's a scorer. He doesn't do much else. I'll take a sip from my Roundball review mug. Just water. Now, Friday night might be something else in here, but tonight, just water. And of course, click on that shop button as you're watching the show on YouTube. Click that shop button and order you a mug or a cap, one of the new Houston Roundball review caps. Get those as well. Those are going pretty well sales-wise. Terry says it. We got out-rebounded badly in overtime. We had 2 players barely 6 foot on at the same time. Aaron and Fred. Well, Sleep Art, welcome to you. I just hate those 3-guard lineups. Doesn't depend on who the guards are. Because putting out there, if Thompson is one of those guards, he helps with rebounding. Mudbone says Cam leads the team with catch and shoot threes. Yes, percentage-wise, yes, he does. But Mike Wells says, no, he's not a specialist. We need a player like Luke Kennard. Okay. Now think about that. I can see Stone trading for a couple underwhelming names that end up being good contributors. There aren't any delays at the post office. If I order something, not that I know of, everything that my folks have ordered and I've ordered has come within 2 weeks. From mugs to the hoodie to the shirt, within 2 weeks, 10 to 14 days. Yep. Amen gets the pass for sure. The mini. Well, Fred and Aaron. Fred is of those two a better rebounder than Aaron. And the injuries, I think the injuries are keeping Aaron in the rotation. If Tari were healthy, Jabari were healthy, Jay Sean were healthy, I don't believe Aaron will be getting consistent minutes. But those three guys are not healthy. Tari got some action on the floor practice-wise today. I tell you, the Rockets haven't said it, but Tari, publicly, Tari's been out, what? This is going into the third week with this unknown lower leg injury that has been bothering him since the beginning of the season. Just call it what it is, man. It's a stress fracture. just call it what it is. It's been a stress fracture or borderline stress reaction stress fracture. DPG says draft a 7'4" Croatian. The young man from Kentucky that you talking about? If Vinicevic, how do we think look so far? He's getting better. See, I agree with this. Even on the last play with those 1.6 left in the fourth quarter, I'm surprised Coach and I have a man on the floor for a defense. But hey, we'll see. Predictions for tomorrow. Are you concerned that the Rockets will? Any doubts that the Rockets will lose both these games coming up Friday, Saturday? Lose in Charlotte and in Brooklyn, or will they split or win both? What do you think? And again, you're watching Let's Talk Houston Rockets, sponsored by Byron Riley. Byron is a CPA. It's tax season, especially for those folks who have got to get those 1099s out, all that kind of stuff. Visit the website, ByronRileyCPA.com. Give him a call, 832-303-3995. Damon says Rockets should win both, but will they? Make your prediction. Will they? Terry says, I want a big on an expiring deal, a good rebounder, then possibly draft a big. Look at how Mark Williams and Walker Kessler turned out. Yep. Derek Lively also. DPG says split. Mudbone says it better win both. See, this is reality right here. Rockets propaganda right here. We play so bad on the road, we could lose both. But we're so bipolar, we could win both. Yeah. Yep. We can't lose against the Nets. Got to keep the value of their pick high. Mudbone says, I'm more concerned about the Nets. Rockets propaganda says they win both. Jamon says, I predict they win both. Will it be because of offense? It'll be a high-scoring affair, both games. Or will the Rockets step up defensively? How many points will Brandon Miller get Friday against the Rockets? He seemed to have found his groove lately. Will it be like, Rockets have only won one game this season when the opponent scores 120 or more. And that was against Utah. So that wasn't long ago. So will the Hornets score 120 and Rockets still win? Will the Rockets win a game Friday night, 119, 110? And then will Brooklyn care enough to challenge the Rockets? They're kind of going through it as well up there in Brooklyn. Terry says, we play defense like we have been. I can't see us winning much until we fix our defense. We barely survive against the lower teams. Detroit don't get much lower than that. Mudbone says it's a high-scoring affair, both games. Yeah, I think so. Let's just say we lost that game to help the Blazers catch the Nets 4D chess, winning both. Draymond thinking positive. They will lock in defensively after getting embarrassed by Portland. Justin, really? Who is in the running for Rookie of the Year this year? Wemby and Chet. 1A, 1B. None of them looked. Really? Were you being serious about that? That they have looked impressive to you? Especially Wemby. Chet, too. I mean, Jaquez with the Heat. Those three had played very well. For a while there, Arthur Thompson was playing well. Hit a wall. He's playing better lately. Because Monty Williams is finally realizing how to utilize his personnel. Only took him 35 games. But, I digress. But anyway, Rockets, Hornets, high-scoring game. Rockets, Brooklyn, probably also a high-scoring game. Rockets are 3 games under 500 now. They'll still be under 500 even if they win both these games. And then you got the Lakers on Monday in town. So the next 3 games. Rich Bates, how are you doing? Just to be honest, I forgot about Wemby. I guess since the Spurs are so bad, you forget. How much blame do I give Udoka for the defense? Rich Bates, welcome. Thank you for your comment, your question. Is that what you're asking me regarding the defense? He still has high expectations for his players in spite of the injuries. You see him challenging players to be better during timeouts, especially Alperen Şengün, but other players as well. He gets on Dylan Brooks. He gets on Jalen Green. But some of his decision making, like last night down the stretch, I questioned that. So here and there, I do have some questions about his substitution patterns, rotations. So I mean, he's a head coach. The buck stops with him, honestly. WK, how are you doing? Very impressive. I disagree. Sometimes he looks lost on the floor. If he's not shooting it, he's not doing anything else. Terry says there's a lot on Twitter about Ime trying to send a message to the front office about needing players. Well, that's right in Draymond's wheelhouse. Rafael better do something. He needs to do something. Draymond says people unfairly criticize Udoka for lineups rotations, but they should be criticizing Stone for the roster construction. Mike Will, I would love to see the Rockets trap the hot guard because they go to the rim like a layup drill. Yeah. Stone got to give Udoka better players to work with. He had a man on the bench. That's one of the things I had questions about right there. So, yeah. Logic Aziz says, I think he's seeing what he got. I think his coaching strategy will change after the All-Star break. Rich Base asks, is this a big trade deadline for Stone? Draymond says yes. Majority of the family here does not seem to think it's a big trade deadline for Rafael Stone. See, Draymond knew Draymond put in all caps. Yes. But for those who talking about the personnel, what were your expectations for the Rockets this season? Was it to get to the play-in? Was it to get to the top 6? Right now, the Rockets are 1 game at tied with the Lakers in the loss column. 2 wins behind the Lakers. Lakers have played 2 more games than the Rockets. Lakers are 22-23. The Rockets are 20-23. Rockets and Warriors are basically tied in that 11th spot, just outside of the play-in. So I know Draymond had 40 wins predicted. So I know that's why he wants to see Rafael Stone make a move. Justin wants a player like Trae Young, a playmaker like Trae Young. A sleep art says, no, this is not a big trade deadline for Rafael. Terry says, we got a lot of dead weight on the bench. Boban, Landale, Bullock don't even play. Jay Sean plays some, not very well anymore, very good anymore. A sleep art says we made double last year's total. Yeah. DPG coming from the top rope. Under 500. We won't get anywhere with Jalen. So will the Rockets be better? And let me say, before I finish the question, I don't believe my answer is no. But to you, would the Rockets be better if Cam Whitmore got the start instead of Jalen Green? Justin says, give me a player like Rondo. Doesn't need to stay just a playmaker. He wants a playmaker. Mike Will, with the Rocket speed, they should be running more backdoor cuts and backdoor screens. There is more to a set than just the pick and roll. I'm all for that. I'm all for effective player movement, effective body movement. So I'm all for that. You know, move with a purpose. Doesn't even have to be play calls. Just move with a purpose. Move without the ball with a purpose. A sleep art says regarding Cam starting, don't know until we find out. Jamon says we need to slowly bring Cam along. He's not ready for a starting role just yet. And that's what I'm leaning. Some of the numbers Cam is putting up, some of them are against the reserves for opponents. He's not doing this against other starters. He lets those shots fly though. And WK, I think Cam is very confident. I think he's very confident. He lets it fly. But he has, when his shot's not falling, he kind of, it gets to him when his shot isn't falling, but he has not the last few games let it impact what he does defensively. So that's a positive because you're not going to make all your shots. Your shots aren't going to fall all the time. So you got to find other ways to impact the team in the game if your shot is not falling. And he's doing a better job of that. So I give him credit for that. See, a sleep art kind of agrees with me. Cam has plenty of confidence. It's about taming it. Justin says, still wish they would have kept KJ. Him and Alpi had a good pick and roll. That could be Alpi and Amin. Got good chemistry. I think you'll see more of that chemistry between the two of them later this season and throughout their NBA careers together. Cam will be great once he has more confidence. He's aggressive, which is what you want to see more of from Jalen. Cam's stronger than Jalen. Rockets need a hierarchy. Jalen still thinks he's the guy. Well, we know that's not the case. All of us know that. Rockets propaganda. I think, regardless of who starts, Rockets fans will thoroughly find a scapegoat. He said that, I didn't. And Mike Will says Cam has tunnel vision, but at the wrong time, but he is improving. Justin definitely loves the LP KJ connection. Plus, KJ averaged 6 rebounds. Got enough time to do it. So, do any of y'all blame Ime Udoka for the Rockets' slippage defensively. Would y'all like to see him do things, mix it up defensively? Mix in some zone, some traps, some other just different looks for opponents. Or is it just simply he's got what he has personnel wise and he's trying to make the most of it? WK says, oops, I think Jalen is actually trying to adjust to not being the guy. LP has earned top billing. Mike Wells says, if you don't play defense, you shouldn't start. I think that would send a clear message. Jamon, I don't. Udoka said they can't practice as often, which has led to the slippage. That is true. A lot of travel, a lot of games, back-to-backs now popping up. Reduced practice does hurt teams, especially young teams who need the reps, who need those practice reps, because you can only learn so much from watching video. Only learn so much from looking at stuff on a tablet and coach drawing diagrams, all that kind of stuff. Yep. The sleep part says Tari is the key. We need him back. Mix it up, start both big men to help on the boards. And you also see without Jabari, the Rockets rebounding suffers. WK said need to get Holiday in for Jalen. Terry, a bit of both. You mean just working with what he has? No Bari, Tari, Brooks just got back. Really, but Ime should trust some of his young guys. If we had a defensive big as well, Aiden wouldn't have went off. He says he thinks he's a max player like Wood. He's not. Yeah, we know he's not. That drop coverage stuff. Oh. But back to it. Earlier in the evening, the final fan returns for the Western Conference All-Star voting. Alp in the front court finished 5th. Slightly ahead of Kawhi. Almost, 722,000 votes ahead of Paul George. 1 million ahead of Wemby. Wow, that's a surprise. Wow. And then Chet and DeMontis, 9 and 10 respectively. Front court voting. Alp finished 5th. The breakdown of it, player rank, Alp was 11th. Fan rank, Alp was 5th. Media rank, Alp was also 11th. That surprised me. I thought media loved him more than 11th. Then the weighted score was 8th. But yeah, I thought more colleagues like Alp more than just have him 11th. So that's kind of strange. But coaches decide the reserves. I do believe Alp still has a good shot of making the All-Star game next month in Indianapolis. Be good for the organization, as Terry chimed in here. All right, family, gonna wrap it up. Didn't want to be too long because we're going to do it again Friday night. We're going to discuss and chop it up. The Rockets, Hornets, Friday. Rockets on the road. We all agree that the game should be high scoring, should be a high scoring affair. We'll discuss it Friday. In conclusion, as always, not as always, because it's almost up with his support. Thank you to ByronRileyCPA.com. Call him 832-303-3995. One more time. It's their website, ByronRileyCPA.com, or call 832-303-3995. I am, of course, KG Kris Gardner, owner of the Houston Roundball Review. Join me Friday night, Mike Will, Terry, Justin, Jamon, Logic, Mudbone, WK, Asleep Art, everybody. It won't be a late night. because the game's kind of early. But get you a cup. Have something in that cup. And let's have some fun Friday night as we discuss the Rockets and the Hornets. Y'all know who I am, how I do it. But in case you're new to the show, watching the rebroadcast, since 1994, yes, that's right, since 1994, the Houston Roundball Review. Local name, global perspective. Y'all take care.
Game over.